Hello, hello, hello. It's good to see everybody. I think this is a little high, so I'm going to bring it down a little bit lower. Hi, guys. Happy Friday evening. It's good to see you guys on not only Facebook, but also it's great to see you guys on YouTube. Hello, hello, hello. Let me know that you're here. I've done what I always make the mistake of doing, which is I didn't get my, hold on, let me get my laptop. 1 second. Oh, wait a minute, don't go anywhere. Okay. I take so much pride in getting ready for my lives, and then I'm not ready for my lives, but I try. Hi guys, how are you? It's so great to see you guys. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, a lot of stuff with COVID vaccines, with the case counts and all sorts of stuff. So that's literally what we're going to be talking about today. I'm really excited to talk about it with you guys. Guys, I'm Dr. Jen Caudle. I'm a practicing family physician. I'm also an on-air health expert and a video creator. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And somebody just sent stars on Facebook. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, so I so appreciate you. I'm just, because I was late to the game because I thought I was ready and I was not. Whatever. Okay. Guys, we have so much to talk about today. It is insane, the membrane, insane, the brain. If anyone knows where that's from, drop it in the comments because you're going to be my new favorite people. Anyway, a lot of stuff to talk about, guys. And you guys have probably noticed that my videos lately have been mostly about COVID. I would say the last 3 to 5 days, actually, this week have been mostly COVID videos, whereas I had taken a break for a little while. We had started talking about other health topics that you're interested in that I want to talk about, right? Diabetes, blood pressure, hair loss, lupus, sleep apnea. And then, if you guys hadn't noticed, I started talking about COVID again. The reason why I did is because COVID is increasing. Also, your questions have been increasing as well. So we're going to talk about some of the things you guys are wondering about. I'm going to try to answer the questions you guys have. And we're going to go through it because this is where we're at and this is the life that we're living, and it's going to be okay. You know me, I'm one of these people that I'm an ever optimist. We're going to get through this, but there's some things we have to know and some things we have to do. So y'all ready? Hi. Okay, let's begin. I'm actually just getting kind of up your comments and stuff like that. All right. So Dr. Rochelle Walensky, Dr. Fauci, and other people that are part of the COVID-19 task force had a meeting today. Their meeting is televised, so you can look at it on YouTube. You can say, hey, COVID-19 task force meeting from July, what is it? Is it the 16th? I think it is. You can Google that and take a look to see what they're saying for any other date. This is what Dr. Walensky said. She said, number one, that yesterday there were 33,000 new cases of COVID. By the way, guys, that's a lot because the 7-day average of COVID cases now is 70% higher from what it was 7 days ago. What does this mean? This means that COVID cases are increasing. I know you've heard about this. I know you've heard on the news. I know you've heard people saying, and you've seen the articles I've been posting, that you all have been posting in my groups, Healthy Living with Dr. Jen, and I got the COVID vaccine. By the way, if you've not joined those groups, please do. There's actually a pinned comment here with this video where you can actually join. I got the COVID vaccine. That's a group. If you've not gotten the COVID vaccine, it's okay. We want to help you out. We want to answer any questions you have. We want to support you in your endeavors, and also Healthy Living with Dr. Jen. So I know you guys know that that's been happening in terms of cases that have been increasing. Dr. Walensky says that there were 33,000 cases yesterday. That's a 70% increase in the 7-day average from the week prior. Guys, that's a really big deal. But not only that, hospital admissions for COVID are up 36% over the last 7 days. Deaths are up 26%. And you probably remember me talking about COVID from, I don't know, before January and things like that, when things were a little bit better, or in January and December, things were a lot worse, but then things got better. You remember me saying that first what happens is we have COVID cases. Those cases then turn into hospitalizations, many of them, and then we experience COVID deaths. So when we say things like COVID deaths lag, what we're saying is that before we know who's going to die from COVID, and I'm not trying to sound cavalier at all, I'm being very sincere. Before people die from COVID, they experience it. They're a case, and then they might be hospitalized, and then they might die. So when we say that COVID cases lag, what we're saying is that usually that's the last indicator that we have or that we see or that we know. The point being is that all of these three indicators are elevated. The number of cases throughout the country are elevated, the number of hospitalizations and the number of deaths. And you know what? As far as I'm concerned, this is my opinion, the number of deaths is going to increase even further because we have a lot of people that are being hospitalized and are having cases of COVID right now. Also, during this press conference, Dr. Fauci and Dr. Walensky stated that the Delta variant, which is something that we are all concerned about, right now is over 50% of cases in the United States. That's actually not a new number. We've known that for, I don't know, at least a few days, if not a week. But in some parts of the country, the Delta variant is over 70% of the cases. So you might be wondering, like, you might be saying, well, so what do you mean by that, Dr. Jen? What are you trying to say? What I mean by that is that we, in many places, test the samples that we're getting from people who test positive for COVID to see if it's the old COVID strain or if it's Delta variant, the newer strain. And what we're finding is that as we go on in time, more and more cases, meaning a higher percentage of cases of people who test positive for COVID are testing positive for the Delta variant. I don't know if you guys remember, but I did a video not long ago talking about how Dr. Walensky predicted that the Delta variant would become our predominant variant, which meant that she felt and other scientists felt that the main strain of COVID that we would see in people who were getting it would be Delta. The significance of that is that we know Delta is more highly transmissible. It means it's spread easier than our old COVID. You know what I mean? Like the COVID we were talking about in the beginning of things. I know this is a lot of stuff, but I want to try to explain it the best I can. And it also means that there's a possibility that this might be more, deadly, more dangerous. I don't know that we've established that's the case so far, but that's the situation. So this is what's happening in this country. What I'm doing right now is I'm going through sort of the data that Dr. Walensky, Dr. Fauci, and others have told us from the press conference today. Now, I'm kind of looking at the comments because it matters to me what you all say. And you guys have been asking me a lot of comments or asking me a lot of questions, rather. Many of you have asked me, okay, well, Dr. Jen, what vaccine did you get? And I'm happy to tell you I got the Moderna vaccine. I know many of you are new to my channel, but I got the Moderna vaccine back in January. And I don't know if you guys remember, those of you who've been with me for a while, I did videos on 24, 48, 72, even 4 days after getting the vaccine and the side effects that I had. Those videos are on Facebook. They're also on YouTube, and I encourage you to check them out because they're there. I know there's a lot of vaccine misinformation. I know that what I'm saying doesn't jive with a lot of you or a lot of people, but it's important. And the truth of the matter is that just because one might not believe what I'm saying doesn't mean that makes COVID go away. That's just the truth of it. So anyway, what they also said in the press conference today is that Delta, 1 in 5 cases of COVID in Florida are due. 1 in 5 cases exist in Florida in terms of COVID. Florida has a higher number of cases, meaning they have a decent number of cases. We also are seeing that COVID deaths are preventable. You've probably heard our Surgeon General, you've heard Dr. Walensky, Dr. Fauci, so many other people say that COVID deaths are preventable. Guys, that's a blessing. To say that we no longer have to die from COVID, we couldn't say that 9 months ago, a year ago, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months ago. We couldn't say that. But the truth of the matter is a lot of our experts, and I agree, COVID is, dying from COVID is preventable. And we do that by getting the vaccine. One thing I do want to say that I think will be encouraging for many of you. Let me just take off this low battery alert because I didn't ask them to tell me that my battery was low. One thing I do want to say is that I know that lately I've been giving you a lot of sort of Debbie Downer news. I know it's tough on you guys, even on me, when all the news that I'm giving you is negative. I hear it from you guys. You tell me, hey, Dr. Jen, can we get some good news? Can you give us something positive? And I don't blame you. I feel the same way. And I wanted to share with you something that I heard from this press conference that I thought was really amazing, that I hope will inspire you. I've been talking about thus far how cases are increasing, how hospitalizations are starting to increase, how COVID deaths are increasing. We haven't seen increases since January. Do you remember when we were talking about double masking back in January? We haven't done that since January. Now, all of a sudden, LA is putting in mask mandates. Other places are putting in travel mandates saying, hey, you can't travel here, you can't travel there. Isn't this a bit of deja vu? And it's scary. But let me give you some good news, okay? So this was information that was released at the press conference today. And they said that the 5 states with the highest COVID case rates are actually seeing their vaccination rates go up, which is pretty awesome. Now, I've done videos on the states with the sort of the higher COVID case rates with the lower vaccination rates. And let me be very clear, the states with the higher COVID case rates also coincides with, the fact that many of them have the lowest vaccination rates. These states are Arkansas, Florida, Louisiana, Missouri, and Nevada. And yes, they tend to have the lowest vaccination rates, which we hope to change. But something good that we learned today, or that I learned today from the task force meeting, is that these states, and I don't know if you guys can see, these are my notes. You see that? So the chicken scratch I'm about to read to you is right over here. These 5 states, we're talking about Arkansas, Florida, Louisiana, Missouri, and Nevada, even though they have the highest COVID infection rates and the lowest vaccination rates, they also have a higher rate of vaccination over the last 7 days or so than the national average. So what that means is that lately, these 5 states that have notoriously had the lowest vaccination rates, the lowest, the highest COVID case counts, are also having the highest rates of vaccination than the national average. What that tells me is that maybe folks in these states, this little chicken scratch over here, maybe saying, hey, we've got to get vaccinated. We've got to get with the program. We want to live. We want our families to live. We want to survive this pandemic. And hopefully they're getting vaccinated. So I wanted to say that because, guys, I think that's really, really important. I know I'm always coming to you with Debbie Downer news. I know. It's really just the intent is really just to inform you. But the purpose is that there is some good news at the light. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Okay. I'm going to take a quick commercial break to welcome all the new people here that have just come on. There's almost 500 of you on right now. I wanted to say hello. I wanted to say happy evening. Thank you so much for the stars. You guys have sent a lot of stars. You can find those right underneath the video. Guys, I respond to you personally. I literally respond to you. You can ask me a question. I take your questions first. In fact, literally, I go to stars comments first before I go to any other comments. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for those of you who send stars. For those of you who have not liked and followed my page, I invite you to do that. I do daily videos on COVID and so much more. Really, our purpose is to get through this. You know my mission. You know my heart. And it really is just to get through this pandemic in one piece and alive. That's it. I'm a family doctor. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a practicing family physician. I've been in practice almost 14 years. Hello. Oh my gosh. It's crazy, which blows my mind. And literally COVID is the challenge of our generation, right? But we can get through this. So for those of you who might be on the fence, for those of you who might be unsure, I do a lot of videos, hopefully answering the questions that you guys have. You write me all the time. Oh, by the way, I do a health newsletter. It's free. Make sure you go to drjencaudle.com, www.drjencaudle.com, and you can sign up for my free health newsletter. There's also a pinned comment where you can kind of respond to things there. I do a free health newsletter. I try to answer the questions that you have. A lot of you guys are wondering about things you've heard about. So let me just go rapid fire through some of those, okay? I literally just got a message today from an old friend from childhood who asked me, she said, look, I'm concerned about giving my children the COVID vaccine. Will it affect their fertility? Will it affect their DNA as they grow up? And the truth of the matter is the COVID vaccine will not affect damage fertility or DNA. The COVID vaccine does not alter your DNA, and it does not make women or men, for that matter, infertile or unable to have children later on. I think that's really, really important to understand. I think it's also important to understand that the COVID vaccine, there's a lot of misinformation that we have. I've done videos lately on the VAERS reports about the adverse reports about the COVID vaccine. And I encourage every single one of you, if you have an adverse reaction or something happens around the time you get the COVID vaccine, you should report it to VAERS. VAERS is VAERS, Vaccine Adverse Experience Reporting System, something like that. I've got to look it up. But I did a video on it yesterday, and it's vaers.hhs.gov. Report that. This alerts the CDC and the FDA to potential issues that they need to look into, and that's what we want. Okay, nobody's trying to cover anything up or to silence anything. But these vaccines are by and large very, 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 very safe. And no, they're not 100%. The video that I posted today had to do with the fact that, yes, you can get COVID after getting the COVID vaccine, but that shouldn't alarm you. Because if you've sort of been on this planet any amount of time, you know that you can get the flu vaccine and still get the flu. But these vaccines are pretty highly effective, and they work very, very well. They are overwhelmingly safe based on the studies that they have and that we have, and they're effective. So I don't know. I know that I'm sort of like, kind of like, I talk like a talking head. I don't know. You guys know Charlie Brown. Sometimes I feel like that. I don't want to be that way. I just want to encourage you to consider the COVID vaccine. Dr. Walensky said today during the press conference that the epidemic that we're having now is primarily an epidemic of those who are unvaccinated. And that breaks my heart. What she means by that is that the people who are getting COVID, who are being hospitalized with COVID, who are dying from COVID are primarily those who are not vaccinated. I know many people are on the fence. They're not sure if they want to get it. They don't know if it's safe to get it. Lasha Herod, you said, if I am pregnant, is it safe for me to get the vaccine? By the way, yes, the vaccine is safe in pregnancy. I always say talk to your doctor, talk to your OBGYN. But yeah, the vaccine is safe in pregnancy. There's also a myth. Lee Hayden says, I don't think she would have gotten the vaccine if she knew it would have killed her in 2 years. That's also another myth that I'm seeing running around. I got the Moderna vaccine. I did a series, multiple series actually, of me getting the vaccine. And maybe I'll post another video. Maybe I'll repost the video of me getting the vaccine. I got the Moderna vaccine. It's also on my YouTube page. I invite you guys to take a look at that. If you're not following me on YouTube, you should. It's youtube.com/drjencaudle. By the way, I'm on Instagram too. Hello. I've been winking lately, but I feel like it's a little shady. It's a little sketchy. Okay, anyway. Ignore the wink. I got the vaccine, guys. And no, I'm not just a talking head, and I'm not employed by pharmaceutical companies, and I'm not a conspiracy. I'm not paid by the government. I just want people to live. I want you to live. I want my family to live. I've lost three people in my family to COVID. And then I also lost a coworker at my university who was essentially like a family member to me to COVID. I lost him in January. He was actually my webmaster. Steve recorded every TV segment I had done for the last almost 10 years. I think, what month are we in? Are we in July? His memorial service was last month, and I had to get up to speak about it. I was actually thinking about talking about this, but I never did because I couldn't bring myself to do it. But we had a memorial service for him at school. By the way, he was young, not much older than I. healthy. I don't know much about his personal life, so I don't know what underlying conditions he might have had or not. But all I knew was I tried to reach him to record a segment of mine, and he didn't respond when he'd responded every moment of every day for the past 10, 15 years before. His memorial service was, like I was saying, last month, and I was asked to speak at it, and I couldn't keep it together. Those of you who are part of my Dr. Jen Superstars group, you guys know my Dr. Jen Superstars group, that's a subscription group, and they really know like my heart. We do special lives like every Wednesday. They see me drinking wine. They see me like ranting. They see me dropping F-bombs, like whatever. But I really didn't talk about this to anybody. Yeah, I spoke at Steve's memorial service last month, young, healthy guy, and I lost it. I couldn't even keep it together. And I'm now just at the point where I can talk about Steve, my webmaster, coworker, someone who I've known since I was literally a medical student 20 years ago. This is probably one of the first times I've actually ever been able to utter his name without crying. And it's been maybe 7 going on 8 months. So I'm not part of a conspiracy theory. I can promise you that. I'm not getting paid by pharmaceutical companies or by anyone to say this stuff. It's Friday evening. I'm here because it's important to me, and it's important to all of us. Our mission is to get through this pandemic, and all of us have lost someone. You can't tell me, all of you, and those of you who don't believe in what I'm saying, and those of you who are trolls and troll me on the site, you can't tell me that you don't know of someone or know someone who's been lost due to COVID. You can't tell me that, because I know you have. My mother has lost 3 cousins to COVID. So I've had those 3 family members, and then Steve, my coworker, who I literally, which I'm actually proud of myself, because this is the first time I've actually been able to say his name and actually not burst into tears. This is progress. I'm actually really proud of myself. I'm just saying this because we know that the majority of people who die from COVID are those who are unvaccinated. It's not a preference. I don't belong to any side. It's just a fact. And so when you think about what it is you want for yourself and your family, what odds do you want? Do you want the odds of, okay, well, if we get vaccinated, our odds of dying from this vaccine is less, or do you want to take your chances, which is a bit like Russian roulette at this point? And yes, I've gone into rants lately, and I'm sorry about that. I'm looking at Kenny, Bismarck, Bridget, you're very sweet, and I'm sorry, I really didn't mean this, but you know how I do. I always get into rants about this. It's not a personal thing. I just need, like, the 600,000 of us Americans who have died, I just need that to stop, because that's touched every single one of us. There's not one person who's watching this, whether you agree with me or not. You can't tell me that you haven't heard of someone who's gotten really, really ill with COVID or who hasn't died from it. I'm not sure I believe you if you said that. It's not a conspiracy theory. I'm not getting paid by anybody. It's not about that. I'm a doctor, and I just want people to stop dying. So, here I go again on my rant. I'm so glad that you guys joined me, because I'm looking at your comments. You guys are like, whoa, oh, shoot, this got deep. Y'all like, oh, shit. I thought, sorry. Sometimes it goes that way with my lives. By the way, I do lives every Monday and Friday night. And sometimes you catch me and I'm on a deep groove, deep situation. Bismarck, you said you lost 3 coworkers. Lisa, you said, what if you can't get it? Christy, you said you lost a pastor to COVID. We all have. You can't tell me you can't tell me, even those of you who don't want the vaccine, it's okay. I'm still here from you. I'm a doctor. You know, I treat patients whether they want to see me or not, whether they want me to be their doctor or not. That's what I do. So when people come at me and they attack me, number one, I know it's not personal. Number two, this is my job. My job is to take care of people, regardless of whether you like me or not, whether you like what I'm saying or not. My job is just to try to help. So what I would ask is that for those of you that are deeply opposed to getting vaccinated, you don't have to admit anything. It's not personal. And this is not a competition either. I would just ask you to really think in your heart. Are you willing to take the risk? That's all I'm asking you. You can choose to believe the things that you're hearing. And unfortunately, we're all hearing lots of craziness. And we can choose to believe that, or we can choose to say, you know what? I don't know if I really believe that the vaccine is good, but I'd like to take a chance because I don't want my family and myself to have a higher risk of dying than if we didn't take it. I'm just asking you to think about that. You don't have to tell me what you decide. You don't have to tell anybody. But that's your decision. And that's up to you. We know that over 99% of people who die from COVID are unvaccinated. I'm rambling. Nicole says, look at the facts. People get vaccinated. Well, you know what? Kamala, you said you lost 3 of your cousins as well. God bless you. Cindy, you said you lost a niece who was a nurse. One of you lost a grandfather. Honestly, I'm looking at the comments and it's amazing. So this is what I would ask. And this is for every one of you out there. Let's just do a big group hug. Can we do a big group hug? I love hugs. And I can't hug you, and I can't even see you or hear you, but I see the comments rolling up, and I'm hearing so many of you people saying and sort of remembering the people that you've lost. So in remembrance of the people that we've lost from COVID, can you all put your favorite emoji in the comments, whether that's a heart or a star or a whatever you want. This is in remembrance of all the people that we lost. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do that right now. Smiley face, in remembrance of Steve, my webmaster, and who worked at my university for 20 years, who just passed away in January, who I couldn't actually talk about without crying until actually now. I think this is the first time. And my mother, who has lost 3 of her cousins. Vivek Murthy, who is our Surgeon General, who lost 10 of his relatives. We've all lost people. So guys, just know that I'm with you and we're with each other. This is not a competition. And it's not even necessarily a race. We're just trying to get through this. So for those of you, if you're not sure about getting the vaccine, it's okay. Take a look at my videos, talk to your doctor, talk to trusted sources. Please don't talk to people who have been looking at the same sources as you, whether it be Facebook or YouTube or whatever. Please talk to trusted people. But please also make the decision to take care of your family and yourself. Your chances of dying from COVID or being hospitalized are significantly less if you get the vaccine. I'm not sure what other odds that you or any one of us could need more than that. I've been rambling. I love you guys. I do worry about us. And that's why I'm here. I'm Dr. Jen Caudle. By the way, thank you guys for all the stars. You guys are amazing. You guys are like rock stars. I'm going to respond to all of you after I finish. Oh, by the way, I have a group called I Got the COVID Vaccine, by the way. That's for those of you who might be on the fence about getting the vaccine. Maybe you want to learn more. Take a look at the pinned comment. After we finish, I'm going to go and accept everybody into the group. Please join the group. Ask your questions. We answer your questions. We're here to support you. I'm Dr. Jen. I love you. You guys are amazing. Let's stay safe. Get your vaccine. All right.